The Los Angeles Clippers are once again a first-round exit and lost to a team that fired their head coach just 3 games before the playoffs. Kawhi is too quiet of a leader, and James Harden's playoff choking resume added yet another chapter, while the Clippers played with some of the lousiest effort I have ever seen in a Game 7 of any sport. The Nuggets out-rebounded the Clippers by 10 in Game 7 and had 12 more second chance points, all while the Nuggets were playing zone defense. Are you kidding me? Nikola Jokic only needed to score 16 points and played just 2 fourth-quarter minutes as the Nuggets massacred the Clippers. The Clippers were well exceeding their expectations while Kawhi was missing a large portion of the season due to injury, and when they were doing so, the thought process was just wait until Kawhi's back, right? The team struggled a bit when he came back, but went 13-2 in their last 15 games to finish the regular season with a 50-32 record. This was the first playoff run that Kawhi was healthy for since 2020, and it still wasn't good enough for a deep playoff run as the Clippers are still the Clippers. Now this Game 7 certainly wasn't a repeat of the brick fest that he had in the bubble almost 5 years ago. He and Ivica Zubac were the only Clippers who played at least 20 minutes who were even half decent in Game 7, but in a do-or-die game, especially with the rest of your team struggling, you have to take more than 13 shots. We all know Kawhi's a mid-range killer, so why not attack the hell out of the zone defense with that? Instead, only 13 shots? 2019 with the Raptors in Game 7 against the Sixers, Kawhi shot the ball 39 times. Where did that get you? Yeah, 41 points, and we all remember this miracle buzzer-beating shot to win the series, and then eventually the finals. If you want to blame his teammates for not showing up, well, that's exactly why the best player on the team has to go down gunning. I'd rather my star player shoot 6 for 24 in a Game 7 like Kobe did in 2010 than 6 for 13. Kobe Brown, who surely doesn't even come close to living up to his first name, and played under 7 minutes per game during the season and only played 8 minutes in Game 7, he went 6 for 7. Derrick Jones Jr. only took 3 less shots than Kawhi while playing 17 less minutes. Really? These guys shooting the ball at a higher rate than the best player on the team is appalling. Kawhi hasn't been the defender he once was in years either. This series, he didn't really guard anyone of significance, and we saw him fronting Aaron Gordon with no help defense, overcommitting on pick and rolls, not even contesting the shot because he thought Ivica Zubac would come out from the painted area to contest, or we saw him get caught ball watching instead of paying attention to Aaron Gordon in the dunker spot, which I would only imagine is in every team scouting report against the Nuggets by now. It really seems like Kawhi isn't hungry for a third ring. He's satisfied with the ones he won in San Antonio and Toronto because it got him paid by his hometown team. Even a good regular season stretch last year got him an extension, which was a mistake. I understand he's injury prone and that's not his fault, but even when healthy, this is the second time as a Clipper where he didn't look like he wanted it enough in a Game 7. At least the first time was much more embarrassing on his part, but still. We also haven't seen him get out of the second round since 2021, and their one conference finals trip happened while he was injured. Now, Kawhi was amazing in Games 2 and 6 of this first round series against the Nuggets this year, which are games the Clippers won, but in Game 1, he had 7 turnovers. In Game 5, when the Clippers went down 3-2, Kawhi only took 15 shots and was just 1 for 4 from 3 and just 3 for 7 from the foul line. Now for James Harden, I stand firm on him not being a top 10 shooting guard of all time, or at the very best, he's borderline top 10. I don't care about his regular season stats and accolades. He's had some great playoff games, but he almost always follows it up with a doozy, and he did it again in Game 7, scoring just 7 points on 2 of 8 from the field, just after scoring 28 in a Game 6 win. He had a doozy in Game 5, scoring just 11 points, and that's the game that put the Clippers down 3-2. Even in Game 6, it was being talked about in the broadcast about how he tends to have his worst games towards towards the end of the series, and we only needed one more game to see that come true again. I couldn't care less that he had 11 assists in Game 7. Only 8 shot attempts in a Game 7 by the guy who's supposed to be the second best player on the team. Come on now. Kobe Brown only took 1 less shot than Harden despite playing 27 less minutes. Derrick Jones Jr. took more shots than Harden when he was only the Clippers' 6th leading scorer during the regular season and only played 16 minutes for the whole game. Peyton Watson, a guy who started just 18 games for the Nuggets this season while averaging just 8 points per game on the season and only 4 points per game in this 7-game series, managed to outplay James Harden in Game 7. So this Game 7 and the last Game 7 Harden played in, which was with the Sixers, he scored a whopping 16 points on just 5 of 19 in those 2 games combined. I wouldn't make much of this if he was considered washed up now at the age of 35, but he averaged 22 points per game during the regular season and was the Clippers' lone all-star. So for him to be playing like this in Game 7 is pathetic. No other way to put it. It's nothing new either. We've seen it for pretty much his whole career. Harden is still a penciled-in future Hall of Famer. I will never say otherwise. He is one of the greatest one-on-one scorers to ever play the game, and he's a great passer. However, he's never had what it takes to win a championship. His play style of over-dribbling, dominating the ball, and being a statue when he doesn't have the ball, also oftentimes looking like he doesn't care in big games, will never get him there. Kobe knew this all along way back in 2019.
James Harden, of course, crazy streak this season. What do you think of what he's doing right now?
Well, I think I'm not a fan of in terms of winning championships. I don't think that style is ever going to win championships. But at the same time, you have to keep your team's head above water to win games. So you have to do what you have to do to win games. And he's doing that, right? Now, I think...
So are you saying you don't think James Harden and the Rockets, as constructed, can win a title?
Not with this style of play, it won't win, right? With one player dominating the ball. Now when you have Chris Paul come back and you have more movement to the offense, where you move guys around, where you're harder to find.
And Chris Paul's back, but you mean more in the...
Yeah, because listen, if you take one player, you put him at the top of the key, or you put him on the wing, and you're running screen rolls, you're always in front of the defense. Mm-hmm. The defense can key on that, particularly in the playoffs. And that's easy to defend. Yeah. It's easy to defend. Now, what he's doing is absolutely remarkable, though. And I think it's a testament to how remarkable it is, because people are now trying to minimize what it is that he's doing. I mean, he's doing some phenomenal stuff.
Harden's response to this was,
I mean, for right now, he's probably right. You know, this way that we're playing won't happen in the playoffs, won't get us to where we want to go. But we haven't had a full roster yet, so I'm excited for that to come.
Full roster or not, Kobe was right, and that was just a lame excuse. No team with him as the lead ball handler will ever win a championship, period. Norman Powell had a career year at the age of 31 in his first full season as a Clipper, and had some good games in the playoffs, but was terrible in games 1, 5, and 7, 3 of those games that the Clippers lost. Seeing how inconsistent he was in the playoffs, perhaps he is best suited as a 6th man, even while the argument that he should have been the Clippers' lone all-star over James Harden, if we have to pick between one or the other, can be made. Now for Ty Lue, I thought the Clippers would get more of the same old same when they promoted Ty Lue after parting ways with Doc Rivers. I also now think he did a lot more right than I realized back then to win the Cavs their 2016 championship, and I have thought he's not perfect, but considering he hasn't had a healthy roster in any playoff run with the Clippers, I haven't been too hard on him. He had one this year, made some nice adjustments in Game 6, like giving Nico Batum a lot of Chris Dunn's minutes to give the team more length and outside shooting, and putting Derrick Jones Jr. and Nico on Jamal Murray after Murray scored 43 in Game 5. However, his team was flat in Game 7, and as much as the players deserve blame for not showing up, it's not a good look on a coach from a leadership perspective for a team to be that flat in a must-win game. As much as I don't think Kawhi should need to be told to constantly go with the Nuggets zone defense with his mid-range game and take more than 13 shots in a do-or-die game, at some point, shouldn't Ty Lue get in his ear about it? In Cleveland, he showed that he has the balls to stand up to LeBron, so why not Kawhi, who we all know is a much more quiet superstar? Now this had to be poetic for Russell Westbrook to beat the team that didn't feel like they needed him anymore. They were better off with him than Harden all along. Harden may be the more talented player and still has more left in the tank than Russ, but Russ, outside of his Lakers tenure, has always been more of a competitor. He scored 16 points off the bench for the Nuggets, with 6 of them coming off steals. Now, Ben Simmons just doesn't belong in the NBA anymore. He has no confidence now. I find it a miracle that he managed to even stay in the league for this long. Oh yeah, the former #1 overall pick who was compared to Magic Johnson coming into the league, airballing a jump hook. Oh, that made me laugh. And he didn't play at all due to a coach's decision in the last 2 games. Didn't even step on the court during a blowout in Game 7. He can still make some nice passes, but a total of 4 points in the 5 games that he played. It's a miracle to me that he's even lasted this long in the NBA. His NBA career should have been as good as done a while ago. What's next for the Clippers? I think they're still in a rut and will be for a while. Kawhi is 33 and James Harden is 35. It would be convenient for the Clippers to start a youth movement, but they're in a really difficult position to do so. This was the final season of owing OKC picks from the Paul George trade, but because of that, they couldn't tank this year even while we knew Kawhi would miss a huge chunk of the season. Next year, they'll owe the Sixers a protected first-round pick from the James Harden trade, which if it lands in the top 6, the Sixers will get that pick, so the Clippers still can't tank. They may have to get really lucky by landing some diamond in the rough to get out of this rut that they're in. Even though I think Lawrence Frank actually had a better offseason than I initially gave him credit for by bringing in a defensive coordinator as great as Jeff Van Gundy, and then through addition by subtraction, acquiring players needed to give the Clippers the 3rd best defensive team during the regular season, like Chris Dunn, Nicholas Batum, and Derrick Jones Jr. After letting Paul George walk to Philly and sabotage the Sixers, he still set them back for years by making that trade for Paul George in the first place to convince Kawhi Leonard to join the Clippers. He still handed the Thunder Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who will probably win MVP this year and has been a 30-point per game scorer for 3 straight seasons now. The Thunder also used one of those many draft picks they got for Paul George on Jalen Williams. Not just that though. 2 seasons ago, he decided to get John Wall, who hadn't been healthy in years, instead of prioritizing keeping Isaiah Hardenstein, who's been such a key role player for the Knicks and Thunder since leaving the Clippers. Wall only played 34 games with the Clippers and was a shell of himself. He hasn't played an NBA game since then. Or after the Bucks traded Drew Holiday for Damian Lillard and Drew wanted to play for a team that has a chance to win the championship, you had your chance at him instead of going for James Harden after a few games into the season. Drew will never be the one-on-one scorer that Harden was in Houston, or even now as he's getting older, but he has much more of a winning pedigree than Harden will ever have, and his 2 rings speak for themselves. Drew is an elite defender, which Harden is quite the exact opposite of. Drew also doesn't care about his stats. The only thing that matters to him is winning. Even when Harden was in his prime in Houston, and it's still true now, his playstyle is not made for winning championships. Or giving Kawhi that extension last year just because of a good regular season stretch, it really made no sense. Kawhi, when available more often than not, is still an elite player. The problem is he's not available enough, and in the biggest game of the season, he didn't shoot nearly as much as the best player on the team should be shooting. No matter what else Lawrence Frank does as the president of basketball operations for this team, even considering how well he rebuilt this team after Lob City and how he was able to get Ivica Zubac for nothing from the Lakers, the bad will always outweigh the good, and he's long overstayed his welcome. He already dug this team too deep into basketball purgatory, and there's no way out until they have draft picks again, and Kawhi Leonard and James Harden are gone. In fact, he may even have to explore his options for trading Zubac because he's the best possible trade asset the Clippers have right now. That's it for this video. What do you think the Clippers should do going forward, and who do you think will win the championship? Please let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like. If you want to see more more from me, please consider subscribing and turning on notifications to never miss out. If you're already subscribed, thanks so much for your support as always. And if you're a new subscriber, welcome to the team. Links to my social media are down below for my more immediate reactions to what's going on in the sports world. If you'd like to see my most recent video and the one that YouTube recommends, both are up above. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you next time.